The UK's 5 greatest prime ministers. Number 1. Clement Attlee. When it comes to lasting legacies, few British politicians can match the pedigree of Clement Attlee and his radical welfare reforms, which remain vital pillars of British society. Attlee, who died in 1967, was voted the most successful British PM of the last century in a 2004 survey conducted by the University of Leeds. Attlee also claimed the top spot in two subsequent surveys by the university in 2010 and 2016. Number 2. Tony Blair. During most of his term, it seemed unfathomable that Tony Blair would leave office as one of the most controversial UK politicians of the 21st century. After taking power in the largest landslide in British electoral history, he set about revitalizing the sluggish post-Thatcher economy and introduced the minimum wage, before enacting a series of foreign policy decisions that initially enhanced but eventually tarnished his reputation in Northern Ireland, Kosovo and Iraq. Number 3. Margaret Thatcher. Perhaps the most polarizing PM in British history, Margaret Thatcher's legacy is that of free market policies including trade liberalization, deregulation, sweeping privatization, breaking the power of the unions, individualism and the creation of an enterprise culture, an ideology that has come to be known as Thatcherism. However, her bootstrap policies and harsh attitude toward striking miners has made her one of the most hated politicians in UK history among certain communities. Number 4. Winston Churchill. Repeatedly voted the greatest Briton of all time, Churchill is almost certainly the most iconic British PM, according to the BBC. His extraordinary leadership during World War II marked him out. However, Churchill's reputation has been tarnished by increasing scrutiny in recent years of his relationship with British India. The legendary Tory, who died in 1965, considered independence leader Mahatma Gandhi a threat to the British Empire, and has been accused of triggering a devastating famine in Bengal in 1943 through large-scale exports of food from India. Number 5. David Lloyd George. The MP for Carnarvon Boroughs had already served as Chancellor, Minister of Munitions and Secretary of State for War during the First World War by the time he became PM in 1916. He was the first and only Welshman to hold the office and is the only British leader to have spoken Welsh as his first language. As Chancellor of the Exchequer, Lloyd George, who died in 1945, oversaw the introduction of many reforms which laid the foundations of the modern welfare state, said the North Wales Daily Post, but his biggest achievement came during his tenure as PM, when he played a major role at the Paris Peace Conference of 1919 that reordered Europe after the defeat of the Central Powers. Who do you think was the most influential British Prime Minister? Follow for more interesting videos about history and politics.